And the best, I find,
Me? You?
people with no kids.
People with no kids.
They've got a bit more of a private place and a bit more time.
Would you say in age, would you have an age bracket?
Yeah, so people that have kids that moved out of home, so that 50 plus, they're quite good and they're really sticky. Also at that stage in life where their borrowing capacity is at risk. Banks don't like to lend to people generally over that 60 time frame because they obviously know if it's a 30-year loan, this person will be 90 by the time they pay off the loan. They might be working when they're in their 70s generally. So chances of them being a lifelong tenant is higher, which is great. I like those types of tenants. Other people with, say, like grown-up kids, say that early teenage years where they
like 12 plus.
Yeah, where they know, hey, don't ruin that. That's quite important. So they're good tenants to have, and even young couples, they're not too bad. But just keep in mind that people are allowed to throw parties. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, why not? Parties are fun.
It's a good time, and they might have a little bit more respect for the property, and a pride of place is very important.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a party without punching holes in the wall, and have a good time and enjoy. If you have property pride, why wouldn't you want to invite people over for a party and enjoy their company? You just don't need to be doing it until 3 a.m. and burning the house down or the table and the microwave at the same time.
Yeah.
So an interesting one to think about with a pool as well is the tenants. You might want them to look after the pool, but they might just not care for it, and that can cost you more money as the owner as well.
Yeah.
So not to say that you don't need to buy something you shouldn't buy something with a pool, but understanding who the tenant is. Also looking at their career and like what sort of career do they have. I know that you're making a judgment here, but like, is their career, the people that have that career generally, are they tidy people? Are they respectable? And inverted commas, what you believe is respectable or not. And I think that's a bit silly to mention even myself, but what, if you were going to put them in a category, in a box, which you probably shouldn't, but would they be the person that's going to look after the pool? Or that type of person look after the pool or the hot tub?
Also,
or the property.
Big point you hit on there was the income security.
Yes, with their career.
Yeah, and looking at that front too. So you should find people that you've got two, say a couple, and they're both, say, like just contractors. I understand, like, this is where I go into it. I go, well, what's the economic situation? If there is a downturn in the market where jobs do get lost, are these people at risk? If there's people in health, that's fantastic. That's recession proof. There's always going to be that need if they've got that full time role. If it's, say, like a contractor who is a painter, in those down markets where people don't want to spend as much money, maybe that painter is at risk of not having as much employment, therefore his income can't pay the rent. Just thinking a few steps ahead in that sense, like the market that we're in at the moment is pretty tight, and our unemployment rate is super low. So it's a great time for property investors in that sense. But it's always changing. So just keep in mind that what's happening now is not going to what's going to be happening in 4 years' time.
I guess another question that you could ask the property manager to ask the possible tenant is, how long do you want to live here for? Like, why, why are you living here? Are you living for career? Is there family around? If you do want to buy a place, when would that possibly be? Sort of sussing them out on like how long would they be looking to stay? Because, ideally, you want somebody to stay longer. That is a good tenant, and you build this thing that we always talk about that we're so big on, is the most valuable thing isn't the transaction of like them paying you money. It's the relationship, because if the relationship is the foundation of it all, and you've got a good foundation and a good relationship, then as you guys grow together, the property market grows, you increase the rents, but they're really good at looking after the property. You play this happy medium of like, you do what's right for them and they do what's right for you. They look after the property and you charge them a decent fee that's, market value without being too crazy, right?
There's a key sort of topic too with pets as well that I wanted to touch in on. Some people ask me like, oh, should I let them rent the property with pets or should I not? I would generally say small pets, yes. Cats are quite clean, but they leave a lot of fur. Little dogs aren't too bad, and also people, because it is hard to find rent properties, they're actually wanting to pay more rent because there's less availability for animals. As long as you just have a make good clause in your lease agreement that the big thing would be the grass, because dogs they're always walking around, so they leave track marks in the grass. So just saying that, just make sure you returf the dog tracks essentially, so it brings it back to how we handed it over to you.
Yeah.
Because that's not really like fair wear and tear, in my opinion. That's, well, your dog's gone and actually just walk the same path and ruin the grass, so fix it up, please.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cheap too.
And you can take before photos and then have an after photo after they leave and not give them their bond back. And that's a pretty fair ask, right?
Yeah.
I'd probably say the same with, carpet cleaning, if you've got a lot of fur and stuff like that, also have a clause of like no wet dogs or wet animals in the place, because it can be, my last partner, when she moved into her place, the carpets were just reeking of wet dog. And she bought the place and she was cool with it because she just changed the carpets. But yeah, that's a thing too. Carpets for wet animals, have a clause there.
Yeah, and to each their own, make your own judgment. Some people have good experience. I've had good experiences with pets. Some people have had really bad experience with pets. So that's why I generally say those medium to larger dogs do carry that. They're more of an outdoor animal that carry more dirt and smell than your small types of dogs. But that's just sort of my experience, and a few things to keep in mind when you're choosing your tenant. It's not always ever about one thing in generally life, especially in property. Like, you don't just look at what rental you're getting in. It's thinking a few steps ahead to think, well, what is your net position going to be? And that takes into account, yes, your gross rent, less all your maintenance costs and management fees and things like that. So yeah, hopefully you all found that helpful.
Yeah. Guys, if you do have any questions, please let us know. hello@propertypals.au.